Hey everyone, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be making a sunflower with a leaf stalk next to it. So here I have a thicker wire, floral wire that you get from the craft store, and a thin floral wire. I use this one for the small leaves when we make the standing leaf. I'll show you later in the video. Here I have two different types of green. I have this brown yarn and a yellow for the sunflower. I have a 4mm hook that's going to work for all the yarn that I have here, a pair of scissors. You shouldn't need a stitch marker, but you can have one on the side if you'd like. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that, but before we do, make sure you like and subscribe, share the videos with your crochet friends, and comment down below what you guys would like to see next. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we have our category 4 yarn, our thin floral wire, or thin wire, my 4mm hook. So we're going to grab our green yarn. This is the lighter green yarn. You're going to lay the tail holding it with your thumb and index finger, making a loop. Put your two first fingers through, twist, grab your working yarn, and pull through. You have your slip knot. Once we have our slip knot, we're going to do a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So it's our chain of 11. So now with your floral wire, so you're going to end up having your floral wire go across one side, roll it over at the tip, and go across at the other side, and leave a little bit extra. So I made one that's about this long. So before we put that wire into the second chain from our hook, we're going to do a single crochet, like that. We're going to put our wire in, leaving about that much sticking out on the other side. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. So you want your wire laying on the top of your stitches so it can be worked into your leaf. So to do a half double crochet, we do a yarn over, go into the next stitch, making sure that that wire is on top of the hook as well, like this. Grab your yarn over again, and pull through all 3, and that's our half double crochet. Into the next 5 stitches, we're going to do a double crochet in the next 5 stitches. So yarn over, into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's your double crochet. So we're going to do one more together. So yarn over into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Go ahead and do 3 more double crochets and I'll meet you right back. Okay, so we did our 5 double crochets. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, pull through all 3. And then we'll do a single crochet, like that. And then to the last one, we're going to do a slip stitch. And we're going to pull this down a bit. And fold the wire over the other half like this so that it can be worked on the top side. So we did a slip stitch, a chain 1, a slip stitch again, and then a single crochet. Just like that. So now we're working on the top side of the leaf. And with this tail, keep this tail laid on the top side of your stitches and it will be worked in so you don't have to sew it in later. So since we did our single crochet right here, into the next stitch we're doing a half double crochet, just like we did on the other side. So we do a half double crochet, and then into the next 5 stitches we're going to do a single crochet, okay, so we did our slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch. Into the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet, making sure that we lay this tail yarn on top of our stitches the same way we're doing the wire. So a single crochet, a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then into the next 5 stitches we're doing 1 double crochet, repeating the same sequence that we had on the other side. So yarn over, put through, pull through 2 and 2, yarn over, put through, pull through, and 2. Just like that. Go ahead and do 4 more double crochets and I'll meet you right back. So we finished our double crochets. We should have 3 stitches left. Into the next stitch we're doing a half double crochet. So yarn over, pull through all 3. Into the next stitch we're doing a single crochet, and into that last place we're going to do a slip stitch and chain 1 to secure. And pull it like that. We don't need too much of a tail, just a little bit. I did mine about this long. So we're going to position the leaf the way we'd like to have it. I want to smush the middle together to make sure the center of the leaf is nice and close together. Like this. We're going to trim off that tail piece if you have any sticking out. And then we're going to put the bottom together. Take this piece and wrap it around the base, nice and tight. I'm going to wrap it around a few times. And then you're going to pull it down in the center of the yarn and then twist the end to secure the yarn. You could glue it here if you'd like, but this is later going to be put on a bigger stem for all the leaves being put together. So this is one of the leaves. You're going to make a total of 7 leaves and they're all going to be the same. So these are all the leaves that I've made. So once you have all your leaves made, then come back here and join me and we're going to put all these leaves onto one stem. Okay, so here I have my thicker floral wire. You're going to look at your leaves and choose the one that you want to have on the top here. So I'm going to go with this one here, and you're going to grab your yarn and basically you're going to wrap the yarn around the wire. If you want, while you're wrapping the yarn around the wire, you can glue it down. I'm just going to use it with tension. So you're going to take and you're just going to have this. All right, so holding this leaf onto the back side of the thicker floral wire, you're going to take your yarn and basically you're just going to wrap it around the stem. So let's get it started. Just a little bit, wrap it around the piece here to help hold it in place. So holding the yarn tail under my finger between the leaf and the stem, I'm going to wrap behind and over the front of the leaf a couple of times to build up some bulk on the leaf. And then I'm going to start by wrapping over the top of the stem, like this. And then once that one's secure, we're going to move on down the stem. And you can keep wrapping it around, you can twist it, and you don't want to overlap the yarn over top of itself. And so we just do just like this. So you're going to wrap this down a little bit. And when we get to the next point, we're going to add another leaf on the side. So I did about this much. Alright, so I have the second leaf. This leaf has a longer wire tail on it, so I'm going to use that to help me hold the leaf in place, wrapping the wire around the floral piece. Now we're going to take and wrapping over the front. And we're going to go, so we wrapped over the front and keep wrapping around the base of the floral stem. And you're going to keep doing the same thing. And you're going to go about halfway here, and then we're going to add another leaf right off the side. Alright, so I'm ready to add my next leaf. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to lay this one over the top side of the wire. And holding my leaf, and we're going to continue to wrap this around to secure the leaf in place. So now it's a little more secure where I want it. We're going to take it and we're going to twist. To help cover the wire a little easier. Alright, so we have those 3 leaves so far. I'm ready to add another one. I'm going to add this other one right down here. I have the leaf going around the back side and wrapping around the yarn around the front. And then once it's secure, I'm just going to twist the floral roller. And I want these 2 leaves to be really close together, so I'm going to go ahead and add another one. So we have our 5 leaves. I have our next leaf here. Just going to add it down here. holding it in place, bringing our yarn around and wrapping it around. I'll reposition the leaf once I get this a little more secure. Like this. And then we got one more to put over here. A couple more turns down. And we're going to go ahead and put that last one in. Alright, so this last one gave me a hard time getting it secure, but this is what we have as it's secured here. So I cut the stem to the length that I believe that I want it to be. And I'm just going to take here and take the time to finish wrapping the rest of the stem. So I'm just going to twirl the floral stem and cover it in wire, the same way that we were securing the leaves on there. So I'll meet you back at the end, and I'll show you how I secure it at the end. Okay, so I finished wrapping my floral stem here. And to secure mine off so that I'm not using any glue, I'm going to wrap it loosely around the end, making a loop like this, and putting it through the bottom here, making a knot, pulling it snug, and then we're just going to trim it. And I'm going to leave mine like this. If you want to, you can glue it down or tape it down if you have any green floral tape as well. So there we go. This is the leaf stalk. I'm only going to make one, and I'm also going to make one sunflower for them to go together. You can make as many as you like if you want to make a sunflower bouquet. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started on the sunflower next. So for the first part of the sunflower, we're going to get started with the brown yarn, and we're going to be making the center of the flower. So for the brown yarn, we're starting off with a magic ring, and to make a magic ring, lay the tail in your hand. With your 2 first fingers, wrap your yarn over and back across the top, making that X here at the top. Putting your hook under the first one, over the second one, pulling it down, twisting it towards you. This here is our working yarn, so we're going to grab our working yarn and we're going to pull it through. And that's how you make your magic ring. So we're going to tighten down the circle. And into this circle, we're going to do a total of 6 single crochets. So you put your hook in the circle, grab your yarn, pull it up, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's a single crochet. I'm going to do a total of 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like this. And then to tighten our circle down, we're going to pull our tail to tighten it down. So now we have that tightened down. We're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of this round. So find your first stitch and put your hook through both loops of that stitch. Grab your working yarn, pull it through, and pull it all the way through, and that's your slip stitch. We're going to do a chain 1. Now we're ready for round 2. Round 2 is an increase round, so it's going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So into the first stitch, you're going to put your hook through, grab your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, and into the same stitch do a second single crochet. That's 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and that's an increase. So you're into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, put through, yarn over, pull through 2. There's our first 4 stitches. Get your stitch marker, put it here in the first one, and go ahead and continue in the next few stitches here. You're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. At the end you should have a total of 12 stitches, and I'll meet you back. We're going to do a slip stitch and chain 1. So we finished round 2. We did our slip stitch and chain 1. Round 3 is going to be a single crochet and then an increase. So we do a single crochet and then an increase. We'll go ahead and place our stitch marker. And then you're going to continue to repeat this. You're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase in each stitch all the way around. I'll meet you guys back at the end to do the slip stitch and chain 1. At the end of round 3, you'll have a total of 18 stitches. So we finish round 3. So we're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. So slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, grabbing our yarn, pulling through, pulling all the way through, pulling it down tight. We're going to do our chain 1. Now we're ready for round 4. Round 4 is 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we have 1, 2, and then an increase, 1 and 2. And get our stitch marker, place it into the first stitch, and repeat this again. 2 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of round 4, you're going to have 24 stitches. I'll meet you back for the slip stitch and chain 1. So we finish round 4. Take out your stitch marker and then slip stitch to the first stitch of the round and chain 1. Round 5 is 3 single crochets and then an increase. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then an increase, 1 and 2. So here's your first 5 stitches. Put your stitch marker in. Go ahead and continue on that. 3 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of round 5, you'll have 30 stitches. Go ahead and do your slip stitch and chain 1, and I'll meet you for round 6. So we finished round 5, ready for round 6. Round 6 is 2 single crochets, an increase, and then 2 single crochets. So we're going to do 2 single crochets. So we got 1, 2, an increase into the next stitch. So 2 in 1 stitch, and then 2 single crochets. 1, 2. And that's the sequence. It's going to be 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. We're going to put our stitch marker here at the beginning. And always remember, when you're starting over the sequence again, it starts from 2 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets. Go ahead and do that the rest of the way around. Round 6 has 36 stitches, and I'll meet you back for round 7. So this is round 6 all done. Round 7 is going to be 5 single crochets and then an increase. So the same we've been doing before. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then an increase. Place your stitch marker at the beginning. And then continue this again. 5 single crochets and an increase all the way around. At the end of round 7, you should have 42 stitches. Go ahead and do your slip stitch and chain 1, and I'll meet you for round 8. So we finished round 7. We're going to do that slip stitch and chain 1, So for round 8, 9, and 10, we're working into the back loop only. And your back loop, you see how you have 2 loops here? This is the back side of your crochet, this is the front side of your crochet. So you're going through this back loop only. So going through the top of the V through that back loop. Instead, where before we were going through the 2 loops, we just want to go through the back loop. Just like that. So we've done our chain 1, we're ready for round 8. Round 8 is 3 single crochets, an increase, and then 3 single crochets. And all of this is worked into the back loop. So into the first single crochet, put your hook through, grab your yarn, pull through, and then do a regular single crochet like you normally do. And it's going to look like this. So that's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do an increase, so into the back loop, pull through, that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. That's your increase. Take a second, put your stitch marker here, and then we're going to do 3 more single crochets. So in the next stitch, you do 1 single crochet in the back loop only, into the back loop only of the next stitch, and the back loop again. And that's your sequence. Remember, you're working into the back loop only. When you're working into the back loop, it's going to give you this line right here. This is going to help us put in the seed details on the flower center later on. So continue the sequence of 3 single crochets in the back loop, an increase in the back loop, and 3 single crochets in the back loop only. Complete that all the way around. At the end of round 8, you'll have 48 stitches in the back loop only. Do your slip stitch and chain 1, and I'll meet you right back. So this is my round 8 in the back loop only. So when we do our slip stitch, we're just doing our slip stitch like usual. Going in the regular way, pulling it through, pulling it down tight, and then we do our chain 1. Same way we were doing for the previous rounds. So for round 9, we're doing 7 single crochets and then an increase, and all of these are also going to be worked into the back loop. So starting off the round, into the back loop of this stitch right here, I'm going to start with 7 single crochets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have 7 stitches in the back loop, and then into the next stitch you're going to do an increase also into the back loop only. So 1 and 2. That's your first 9 stitches. Place your stitch marker here at the beginning, and then repeat that again. 7 single crochets in the back loop only, and then an increase in the back loop only. Continue that all the way around. Do your slip stitch and chain 1 like usual, and I'll meet you guys back at the end. At the end of round 9, you should have 54 stitches. And remember to work them only in the back loop, okay? So for round 10, we're just going to do 1 back loop single crochet in each stitch. So into the next stitch, making sure you're going into the back loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're just doing 1 single crochet back loop in each stitch. Make sure at the end you do your slip stitch and chain 1, and I'll meet you back for round 11. At the end of round 10, you should have 54 stitches. So we finish round 10, have a total of 54 back loop single crochets. I did my slip stitch and chain 1. We're actually going to do a chain 1 and cut, because the next part that we're going to work on is the seeds here in the middle. So we cut that. And we're going to get started on the seeds. I'm using the same color brown. If you have another color brown, you can use that, but I'm going to use the same brown. So for making the seeds, you're going to get your brown yarn, make a slip knot, like this. And the seeds are going to start in this back loop round right here, this one here, and this one here. And then the petals are going to be worked into this one in the back. Alright, so getting started on the first round of the seeds. So this is my first back loop, right here where all of our slip stitches have been. This is my first back loop, so I'm going to go under the first back loop, just grabbing the back loop stitch, not the actual stitch. We're going to place our slip knot here on our hook. We're going to pull it through, and we're going to secure it with a chain 1. So now that that's secure with a chain 1, the pattern is going to be a chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do a slip stitch back down here into the where we originally went in. Place our slip stitch and pull it all the way through. And that creates one of the seeds. So into the next back loop here, we're going to skip that and go into the one next to it. So in through the back loop, like this. We're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to again repeat with a chain 3. And then we're going to do a slip stitch into the same stitch. Just like that. And it's going to look something like this. And we're going to keep doing that. So skip the next one, go into the one after it. And then we're going to do a chain 3. We have our chain 3 and then slip stitch. And you're going to keep repeating that all the way around. When you get back to here, you're going to do a slip stitch, and then we'll do a chain 1 and alright, so we finished up the first set of seeds on here. I'm on the last one, and we're going to do a slip stitch into this first back loop that we made originally. And we'll do a slip stitch here. Just like that. Alright, so now we're going to do another row of the seeds on the second back loop row that we made. To move to the second back loop row, we're going to do a slip stitch up to move up to it. So where we are right here, into this back loop slip right here, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into this point right here. And pull through both and pull it down. And now we're ready to do the same thing that we were just doing. So into the first back loop of this round, get into the first back loop of the second row, right here. We're gonna and now we're going to do our chain 3, 2 and 3, and then we're going to do our slip stitch back into the stitch, and then we're going to skip a stitch and then do our slip stitch. To do our slip stitch, our chain 1, 2, and 3, and then a slip stitch back into the same stitch you're working in. Keep repeating that, and we're going to do skip a stitch, slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch, skip a stitch, and we'll repeat the same thing that we were doing in the front. I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Alright, so we finished the second round of the seeds, and to seal off this round, we're doing the slip stitch into the base, into that first stitch, the same stitch that you made before. Now once we have that, we can go ahead and do our chain 1 to secure and cut. And what we're going to do so we don't have to weave the tail in because everything else is going to be worked into the back, I'm going to slip my hook through the back side, grab my tail of the yarn, and pull it down through the back. And then once we sew up the back, the tails will stay in place. If you want, you can weave the tails in however you'd like. That's how I'm going to do it so I don't have to. So the next thing that we're going to get started on, let's check the pattern. The next part of the thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the leaves, and we're going to have 2 rows of leaves. Along with my leaves, I'm going to use this thin floral wire. This is very thin floral wire that I have, and this is going to help keep the leaves straight. If you don't want to use floral wire, your leaves are just going to curve a little bit more. This is the yarn that I'm going to be using. It's also going to be using a 4mm hook. This is something that I have laying around. So we're going to use that. Let me get set up and we'll get started in just a second. Alright, so we secured this with our chain, and then we're going to do a chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have our chain 8, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So with our chain 8, working into the next chain, I'm going to do a single crochet. So you put it through and pull through 2, put through, pull through, and pull through 2. We're just doing 1 single crochet in each of the chains. Like this. Alright, so we slip stitch into the base, and then we're going to slip stitch into the next one, getting ready for the next petal. And then we're going to do another chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to do it the same thing again. We're going to do 1 single crochet in each chain. So you put it into the next chain, pull through 2, into the next chain, pull through 2. Keep doing this all the way down. You'll have a total of 7 single crochets in each flower petal. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to skip 1 stitch. So when we slip stitch into the base, we're skipping 1 and slip stitching into the next, like this. And then to get started with the next one, we're going to slip stitch into the stitch next to it. You're going to keep repeating that. You're going to do a chain 8 and then 7 single crochets all the way down. skipping one of the stitches, slip stitching into the next, slip stitch into the next to get ready for the next leaf. You're going to do that all the way around. Alright, so we finished our first round of petals. For the one side of the petal, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round where we started our petals from, and pull through. So we already did our slip stitch. We're going to put our wire through the same place that we did our slip stitch. Pushing it through. And you're going to hold the wire on the back here, and you're going to hold it in place while we work the single crochet. You can cut the wire if you want. I'm just going to leave it as one piece. So to help me secure this in place, I'm going to start with a slip stitch into the first stitch of that flower that we made on that side, and then into the same stitch we're going to do a single crochet. So put in, going under the wire, and a single crochet. Into the next stitch is going to be a half double crochet, so yarn over, put into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all three. That's your half double crochet. And then into the next 3 stitches, you're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, put into the next stitch, grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's your double crochet. Do 2 more double crochets for a total of 3 double crochets. And 1 more. So we have a single crochet, half double crochet, and 3 double crochets. So after our 3rd double crochet, the next one is a half double crochet. So yarn over, put through, pull through all 3. And then into the next one is going to be a single crochet. And that's the first side of the petals. Into the top here, we're going to put a single crochet. This is going to help form the point. So going into that top stitch, we're going to put a single crochet, a chain 1, and then we're going to go right back through that single crochet we just made, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So you did your chain 1, and then you're going to go through that single crochet we just made, grab your yarn, pull through, and pull all through. That's going to create the point of the leaf. So now we're going to work on the other side, folding our wire over. So working on the other side, we're going to start with a single crochet in the next stitch. And then it's going to be a half double crochet. So into the next stitch, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's our half double crochet. Then we're going to do 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet, so yarn over, put through, pull through 2 and 2, and those are our half double crochets. And we got 1 more. Those are single crochet, half double crochet, 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. After your third double crochet, we're going to do a half double crochet just like we did on the other side. So yarn over and pull through all 3. In the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet. So put through, pull through, and pull all the way through. And that's your single crochet. You're going to skip a stitch and then we're going to slip stitch. So we're not going to slip stitch here, we're going to do it right here. So skip this one and slip stitch into the one next to it, leaving the wire on top. Grab your working yarn, pull it through, pulling it all the way through. And that's your leaf, and you're going to repeat that pattern to keep making the rest of the leaves like this. Alright, so we did the first leaf, but we're going to do it again just to be sure that you guys understand. So we skipped a stitch, we slip stitched into the next, and we're going to start the same way we started the last time. The wire is still going for me. So you find the first stitch right here of your next leaf. You go into that stitch. I'm going to start with a slip stitch just to keep it in place. And then into that same stitch I'm going to do a single crochet. In the next stitch we're doing a half double crochet, so yarn over, put in, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, that's a half double crochet. Into the next 3 stitches we're doing double crochets, yarn over, put through, pull through 2 and 2, and do it again, yarn over, put through, pull through 2, pull through 2, and one more, and that's our third double crochet. So we had our third double crochet. The next one is going to be a half double crochet. So yarn over, put into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. It's your half double crochet, and then we're going to do a single crochet. So we have our 3 double crochets. We're going to do a half double crochet next. Pull through all 3, and a single crochet in the next one. And that's all the stitches for the one side. Into this top stitch here, we're going to do a single crochet. So we're going to go through the center of the top, like this. Go under your wire, pull through, put that single crochet there, do a chain 1, and to do that peacock stitch we're going to go through the single crochet that we just made, pull through, and we're doing a slip stitch. So pull through the single crochet and pull through the chain 1. That makes the point of the leaf. Adjust your wire a little bit, and we're going to go back down the other side, and we're doing the same thing. Into the next stitch we're doing a single crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch, pull through all 3, double crochet in 3 stitches, so 1, 2, and 3. That's our 3 double crochets. Then we're going to do a half double crochet, pull through all 3, and then a single crochet. And that's your leaves. So you're going to keep making these leaves and you're going to keep going around, making sure that when you come to the base, you're going to skip a stitch and then slip stitch. So I'll meet you guys back when I finish all of this. Alright, so this is our finished petals. I have 18 petals here. And then the wires are here in the back. So to finish off this round, once you're done with your last petal, you're going to do a slip stitch and then I'm going to pull into this next one here and I'm going to do another slip stitch and then do a chain 1 and cut. We'll just tuck that in the back. So what you want to do, you want to take some time, you're going to tuck your wire into this piece here, and you want it to be in the center so that all of this is tucked into the center. We're going to do a green part on the back and we're going to fill it over here. So all of this is tucked into the center so you don't have to weave it in. You can trim the wire short, but I'm going to push mine through the back here and I'm going to tuck in all my threads through the back. So I'll meet you back in just a minute. Alright, so this is what mine looks like once I tucked all the wires back here. I trimmed a couple of them and I have all the tails here in the middle. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get our green yarn and we're going to make this back piece of the flower. And when we're doing this green one, we're going to be working into the front loop instead of the back loop. So this time in the next round we're going to be working in the front loop only. So let me get my green yarn and we'll get started. Alright, so we're going to get started with the back part of the flower. So with your green yarn, the first thing we're doing is making a magic ring. So you're going to take the tail, hold it in your hand, wrap your finger over and across the top, making an X. Go under the first, over the second, grab and pulling towards your body, twisting, grabbing your working yarn, and doing it like that. You have your magic ring. And we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So put your hook inside the ring, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to pull it tight. We don't want to close it completely because this tiny hole here, this is the hole where you're going to stick your flower stem. I have my flower stem here. So then once we do this is going to be the hole that we shove that into. So don't pull it all the way tight. So that's our round 1. We're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. And chain 1. And now we're ready for round 2. Round 2 is going to be 1 single crochet, and the same for round 2 and round 3 are both 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we'll do round 2 together. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch. If you lose count easily, just use a stitch marker. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we did our 6 single crochets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. And a chain 1. And then we're ready for round 3. Mine got flipped inside out, so I'll flip mine right back out. And you're going to do the same thing again. You're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch. At the end of round 3, you're going to do a slip stitch and chain 1. You'll still have 6 single crochets. I'll meet you back for round 4. Alright, so this is round 1, 2, and 3. I did my slip stitch and chain 1. We're ready for round 4. I tucked in the tail from my magic ring. I tucked it into the center here. You could cut yours. I'm just going to tuck mine in. Round 4 is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So do 1, 2, in the same stitch. And you continue doing 2 single crochets in each stitch. At the end of round 4, you're going to have 12 stitches, and you're going to do your slip stitch and chain 1. So I'll meet you back at the end of round 4. Alright, so this one's our round 4. You have this little bit of a stem here, and then you have the base of the round part starting to form. So you should have 12 stitches. Round 5 is going to be a single crochet and then an increase. So we start with a single crochet, and in the next stitch do 2 single crochets, and that's your increase. So you're going to keep repeating that, 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. At the end of round 5, you'll have a total of 18 stitches. Make sure you do your slip stitch and chain 1. So this is round 5. Round 6 is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then an increase in the third stitch. So 1 and 2. So you repeat that sequence, 2 single crochets and then an increase. Do that all the way around. At the end of round 6, you'll have 24 stitches, and do your slip stitch and chain 1. Alright, this is round 6. Round 7 is going to be 3 single crochets and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then an increase into the fourth stitch. So 1 and 2. Keep repeating that. 3 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of round 7, you're going to have 30 stitches with a slip stitch and a chain 1. So round 7. Round 8 is going to be 2 single crochets, an increase, and 2 single crochets. So we start with round 8. We're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. An increase in 1 stitch. 2, and then 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. So you're working a total of 6 stitches. So you're going to do single crochet, increase, single crochet, single crochet. Repeat that sequence all the way around. At the end of round 8, you'll have 36 stitches. Do your slip stitch and chain 1 and meet you back. So this is round 8. We did our slip stitch and chain 1, ready for round 9. Round 9 is 5 single crochets and then an increase. So we'll do that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then an increase, 1 and 2. So you're working a total of 7 stitches in this sequence, 5 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of round 9, you're going to have 42 stitches. Do your slip stitch and chain 1 and meet you back. So this is our round 9. We have our 42 stitches. Round 10 is going to be 3 single crochets, an increase, and 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, increase, 2, and 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. You're going to work this sequence all the way around. 3 single crochets, increase, 3 single crochets. At the end of round 10, you'll have 48 stitches. Do your slip stitch and chain 1. This is round 10. Round 11 is going to be 7 single crochets and then an increase. So you do your 7 single crochets with an increase. At the end of round 11, you're going to have 54 stitches. Do your slip stitch and chain 1. I'll meet you back for round 12. Round 12 is going to be a little different. So we finished round 11. I did my slip stitch, but at the end of round 11, instead of doing a chain 1, we're doing a chain 2. So we chain 2, and we're getting ready for round 12. Round 12 is going to be worked into the front loop only. This front loop here. Originally, earlier in the pattern, we were doing back loop, so this time we're doing front loop only. So we have our chain 2, and into the front loop only of this first stitch here, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over, going into the front loop only, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2. That's 1 double crochet. Do another one in the same stitch in the front loop only. That's 2 double crochets like this. So we did our 2 double crochets to start. We're going to do our chain 3. Now we have our chain 3 into the second double crochet that we worked. Put your hook through. You're going to do a single crochet. Chain 1, slip stitch into the original stitch where the double crochets at the base, and then yarn over and do 2 more double crochets. So we're making this leaf on round 12. We're going to make a total of 18 of them. So this is going to be my second one. You start off with a 2 double crochets into the front loop only. Like that. Do a chain 3. Into the second double crochet that we just did. You're going to put your hook through like this. Grab your yarn and do a single crochet. Do a chain 1. A slip stitch back into the double crochet that we just worked. And then you're going to do 2 more double crochets. Like this. When you finish that, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, skip the stitch, and then into the one after that, you're going to do another slip stitch, but into the front loop only. Like this. and then you start the sequence over again. So you yarn over, it's going to be 2 double crochets, two, chain 3, insert your hook into the second double crochet, pull through, do a single crochet, chain 1, slip stitch back into the double crochet where you worked the single crochet, and into the base we're going to do 2 more double crochets. To finish this off, slip stitch into the next stitch. And you're going to keep repeating this sequence all the way around. You're going to have a total of 18 petals. I'll meet you guys back at the end to do the slip stitch and cut. Alright, so we finished around the last petal. We're going to do a slip stitch right here into that same first stitch that we did earlier. So we're going to put our hook through, do a slip stitch, and a chain 1 to secure. And that secures it here. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to cut a long piece of green yarn because I'm going to hand stitch it on. I'm not going to slip stitch it here. I'm going to do hand stitch. So I'm going to leave a long tail of green yarn, and then we're going to add some stuffing in between here to kind of puff out the front just a little bit. So here I took my sunflower, I squished all the petals and folded them down, and we're going to open them back up at the end. This is just going to make this ring, this last piece here, is going to make this a little more accessible for us. So for this is the part that's going to go inside. This is the outside. What you want to do, you want to take your thicker floral wire. I put a fold on it so that it's going to help hold the flower a little more angled. You can keep it straight if you want it straight up and down. We're going to put the floral wire through the hole here, all the way in like this. And we can adjust it once it's stitched together. We can shift it if necessary. If you have it, you can use some hot glue and glue this down here so that it doesn't move. I don't have any right now, so I'm going to take a piece of spare thread, and to prevent this from moving, I'm going to tie a little knot around the base here. And this way it won't move as easily. So I have my long tail of the green yarn here. What we're going to do, I've got some stitch markers here, and we're going to place these together. So on this last round right here, this last round of stitches that we did, that's the round that I'm going to stitch the brown onto. So if you place it on top and flatten it out, these two here line up. So we're going to take a stitch marker, push it through one stitch here, and another stitch right here. This way, they're sandwiched together, and while you get it situated, you won't have to keep moving it back and forth. So we got one on this side, and we're going to go ahead and flatten this side out and put one on this side. So you're going to go through a brown stitch, and then you're going to go through a green stitch. And it's just so it holds it in place. Like this. I'm going to put the other two on, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, so this is placed with the 4 stitch markers the way I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a few stitches around. So I have my tail yarn here. It's starting over here. So the round that I'm going to go up into, I'm going to start from the bottom here. And then I'm going to go through both loops of the brown stitch and pull it all through. I'm going to do one more in the same stitch, so that it's extra secure, like this. And then I'm just going to continue this around. I'm going to line up my brown stitch with the round I want to. I'm going to go in through a brown stitch, come under, back up, through over the green, and through brown, and pull it through. And then you're going to go back down through the brown, through the green, and then do it again, up through the green, up through the brown. You're going to pull it tight as you go along, like this, and secure it down to there. So again, get you a little closer. Line up the brown with the stitch I want. We're going to go down through the brown, through the green, pull it all the way through the back. Once you pulled it through the back, you're going to come back up through the brown, push it through the green, and come back up. And you just keep doing that all the way around. When you get about a quarter of the way done, leave some space so you can put some stuffing in there to puff out the front of the flower. Alright, so I sewed almost all the way around. There's a little bit left here. I have this placed right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this front piece, I'm going to fill it with some stuffing. I'm just using polyfill. You can use yarn scraps, polyfill, or anything. It's not a lot, it's just enough to kind of puff out the front a little bit. So here we have a little bit of a puff on the front here. That's going to be good enough for me. So, getting my petals back out of the way again. Squishing that down in there. Finding the place where I finished off with my thread. So, I'm going back down through the brown. And you're just going to close it up the rest of the way. So once it's fully on and secure, just take your, if you have any left over, just shove it through the back middle of the flower, pull it through, and then cut your tail. That way it's tucked in and you don't have to worry about it. And we're just going to chop it off. So now we're going to grab some more green thread and we're going to wrap the stem the same way we did the leaves. I'm going to show you real quick a little bit of it and then I'll meet you back. My thread, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it around the base here. Since I didn't glue mine down, I'm going to wrap it around the base a couple of times to make it secure so that it won't go anywhere. And once we wrap it around the base a few times, you're going to start using it to move down to start covering the floral wire. And we're just wrapping it around the same way that we wrapped the leaves. And you just wrap it around. You keep them tight together so that there's no gaps. And you just keep wrapping it like this. You can glue it down as you go. I'm gonna finish it off down at the end and I'll show you how I finish it off in just a few minutes. Alright, so I finished wrapping the stem. Here it is up here, all the way down. When I got down to here, I'm going to loosen one of the loops and put the thread through the hole, the same way I did the one for the leaves, pulling it down tight. You could do it twice. You loop it around, leave a little bit of a hole, and put the thread through and pull it tight. That way it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to cut that off. So now that we finished all that, we can take, I'm going to push down on the center of the flower and push out the rest of the petals that you have. So here we're going to take some time to adjust the petals as you want them to be. I have a piece of wire sticking out here. I'll have to take that off. And this is what this looks like here on the front, and this is what it looks like on the back. So we have our flower, and we have our leaves to go with it. So this is how the sunflower and the leaves came out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again next week.